Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. In the 2024, Ministry of Tourism intends to further collaborate with key marine stakeholders across SVG for sustained growth of the yachting sector, which include diving and other marine-related activities, and to address the issues confronting the various subsectors. This is according to Minister Carlos James, who told Parliament last Thursday that his ministry will also continue its work to enhance SVG's tourism product offerings for visitors. He was at the time responding to a question from opposition leader and MP for the Northern Grenadines, Dr. Godwin Friday, on the government's plans for the development of the Bequia Easter Regatta. Minister James noted that there are various formats of regattas in the Grenadines. However, the potential exists to expand the scope of these events and to host major events that incorporate all of the Grenadine islands while harnessing the potential of a marine tourism subsector.
This is in line with the government's tourism development policy, as it will now not only attract additional visitors to this buoyant subsector, but serve as an ideal marketing tool for the destination. In light of this, the ministry is proposing to develop a premier marine event which will afford visitors the opportunity, and locals, the opportunity to explore the diversity of our 32 islands and keys, while creating a platform for increased international recognition of our country. The event will bring together the organizers of the various regattas and marine-related activities in the Grenadines, including Bequia, to plan and host activities that are economically viable and beneficial to the marine stakeholders, as well as to boost our tourism product. The community tourism consultations, which we have launched recently, will move to Bequia in a matter of weeks. We're hoping sometime between September this month and early October, which we will then engage all of the stakeholders on island to facilitate the discussions surrounding how do we move forward with what I would want to coin as our International Sailing Week, which is going to be the first of its kind in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The tourism minister further told Parliament that while the COVID-19 pandemic affected the entire tourism sector, some persons are still coming to SVG by yachts. However, the Bequia Easter Regatta was adversely affected to the point where few activities than normal were hosted.
But the challenge has been working with these stakeholders. There are several groupings, and you may be familiar with the groupings and some of the difficulties in which we're trying our best to see how we can get all of the collectively the groupings to work together to ensure that we have a holistic program that benefits all of the stakeholders involved. We had several meetings with some of the stakeholders where we discussed the idea of this International Sailing Week. At first, some of the local stakeholders on Bequia said, well, you're coming to mash up our regatta, and we don't want to be a part of that. There were other persons who are representing other groups on island, and as stakeholders said, well, we welcome this initiative, and it is something that will boost our tourism product and boost our regatta. Now, I want to make it very clear that the intention is not to replace the existing Bequia Regatta, but what we intend to do is to host a series of activities around the marine sector, from Bequia in the north right down to Union Island in the south. And the honourable member for the Southern Grenadines would accept that we've had a fall off in regattas on Union Island as part of the Easterval. And it's something that we're working with the Easterval Committee and the Union Island Tourist Board to ensure that we bring back that semblance of the marine sector as part of our Easterval activities. So the intention is to really work with the stakeholders. We don't want it to be a tourism Ministry of Tourism event, but an event, a national event which involves all of the stakeholders, both on mainland as well as the Grenadines, but including the other Grenadine islands, Mairo, Canawan, Union Island, to be a part of 1 week in a marine sailing festival, which culminates with the hosting of the Beckway Easter Regatta. And all of the stakeholders who are involved in the Easter Regatta will have the opportunity to play their role in developing further their traditional Easter Regatta on Beckway.
The Tourism Minister said they have already received the support of stakeholders and other Grenadine islands for the International Sailing Week, and soon they will be meeting with stakeholders in Beckway on the matter. James also told Parliament that he will be traveling to Martinique soon to discuss with the yacht charters and other businesses best what they have and more traffic that is moving southwards to come to the Grenadine Islands during the planned International Sailing Week. The tourism minister was further asked by the opposition leader to provide more information on what will be involved in the international sailing event in 2024 and not in the next 10 years, thereby giving persons the opportunity to plan for the event, which is expected to culminate with the Beckway Easter Regatta.
Member would appreciate, I indicated that we've already started work with the stakeholders. We've visited, as I said, stakeholders on Union Island and other areas in the Grenadines to work on what is the best model for this event. So we're not waiting until the week before Easter to announce this. Of course, it has to be stakeholder driven. And in a few days, we'll be on Beckway working with the stakeholders to flesh out and to ensure that we have a successful Easter Regatta. I can guarantee that this year coming, we are seeing the reemergence of the yachting component of the regatta, and this will happen working with the stakeholders on Beckway. I can assure you that that is the intention, and we're hoping to have a successful one. We have had some challenges with the very stakeholders who are part of the planning process. There are now about 2 or 3 different groupings. The Veteran Sailing Club, there's another sailing club which would traditionally host the yachting sectors. They are still deciding which one of these sailing clubs are going to be hosting that part of the regatta. And I want to say to the stakeholders, if they're listening, let us work together and find some common ground to work collaboratively to ensure that we bring the yachting component to our tourism product and to the regatta back in 2024. And it, as I said, Madam Speaker, it is stakeholder driven, and we have to work with putting the stakeholders first to ensure that what they represent as part of the regatta is one which is captured within the whole product of what we're presenting. So we are very much aware of what the challenges are, and we're working with the various stakeholders to ensure that we resolve them, and we plan properly to budget to have the resources allocated for Easter 2024.
Residents of Bukaman, surrounding areas, and other members of the general public have been given the assurance that they have nothing to worry about in terms of access to the Bukaman Bay or beach when the Sandals Hotel Resort project is completed. The assurance was given by Regional Project Director of Sandals International, Terence Desvignes, during a media tour of the site last Friday.
Beaches in St. Vincent are public, and Sandals follows those policies throughout the Caribbean. There's not one private beach in any of our jurisdiction, so it will be open to the public. There's access. The bridge, we're going to actually remodel the bridge with some good green heart wood, make it look beautiful. We also know about there's going to be a fish fry monthly in Bukaman, and we are going to invite all our guests to come across the bridge.
That's all for me.
The beach, I mean, I have been living in Bukaman. I have actually lived in the villas in front, and the people who frequent the beach daily. We never had a problem. It's not an issue. I see the grandmom and granddad coming across the bridge. I think people will be more than happy to see, local people using their beach and them be integrated in it. So I don't see a problem.
But the villas,
yes,
they're not on the beach, they're over in the water further out.
Yes, yes. But the
That's
villas,
the explanation I was
but the
given.
villas to the front also is very high from the high water mark and the beach. So it's not a problem. We don't see it as a problem.
The Sandals International representative said they will also be seeking to purchase private lands to build 116 housing units for their staff here in SVG.
What that helps with is people who live on the leeward side, and the windward side, who live very far. They're able to live here nearer, or maybe spend the 5 days that they work here and then 2 days at home. So it helps them being very, very close by. In terms of transportation and being close to work. So we're looking to do a little village in terms of staff housing to assist a lot of our local people, and also to be for some of the management, supervisors, chefs, and so on and so forth. So that is actually, we're meeting people this weekend to review it. And we're going to sign up and have that started immediately as well, which will be more local jobs again.
Yes, so as we speak about jobs.
Sorry, go ahead with the jobs.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Monday, September 11, 2023, signed a Memorandum of Understanding, an MOU with the government of Cuba for 20 young men to have the opportunity for training in the fisheries sector. Speaking at the signing ceremony at Cabinet Room, Minister of Agriculture Roberto Caesar said the MOU will focus mainly on fisheries assistance and technical support over the next year. Minister Caesar stressed that this is all part of the South-South cooperation under the Community of Latin America and Caribbean CELAC and arguments with the government's existing programs in fisheries, such as the $2 million fleet expansion program. A 3-member team of agricultural officials from Cuba who arrived in the state on Wednesday, September 6th, is engaged in critical assessments to provide assistance to this country's agriculture and fisheries sectors. The head of the delegation, Deputy Minister of Agriculture, His Excellency Javier Francisco Aguero Rodriguez, thanked the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in particular the Ministry of Agriculture, for its innovation and highlighted that the relationship between both countries is crucial in the establishment of a system for food and nutrition security. Local meteorological forecaster Gregory Cato is reminding the general public that the country is now into the peak period of the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season, which tends to be an active time for tropical storms and hurricanes. Cato was at the time discussing the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season on NBC Radio's face-to-face program yesterday.
Pretty much winding down. Most of the activity typically occurs between August to October. So pretty much we are midway. Tropical storm Brett, that was one of them that stood out mostly because that passed slightly to the north, well, basically to the north of the islands. We took a pounding. We had to move from a storm watch to a warning. We experienced over 4 inches of rainfall. We had high wind advisories and so forth in place. We also had a tropical wave around the 19th of August where we had a situation where we had rainfall amounts of, you could say 4 inches within a 48-hour period. These, I would say, mostly 2 instances, I would say mostly, that this stood out mostly. Of all.
As the humid conditions persist, Cato said the SVG Meteorological Service is predicting a temperature level of about 31.1 degrees Celsius for October, while November prediction is about 30.7 degrees Celsius.
Feel like temperature, what it feels like from what it actually is. So depending on where you are, you may, even though we read 30, you may be somewhere in Kingston, for example, that has a lot of wall surfaces and support that would, maintain the heat. So it may be way more than 30. So there are areas, of course, that would experience temperatures that are above what we would read here. Or it would feel much more than that. So over the next few months, upcoming months, there are areas that, of course, will be impacted. Health, agriculture, tourism, and we would just like folks to know that as it relates to water, the availability may be disrupted during the passage of systems. So residents, the advice to ensure that you have adequate quantities for drinking and, of course, for sanitation purposes as it relates to health.
Cato is encouraging members of the public to limit their outdoor activities and to stay hydrated.
The Saharan dust episodes may pose a threat to persons with respiratory concerns. So we would speak at times to the folks at health so that they can issue whatever, because they're the ones, the authority who, are qualified to speak on matters like those. We're able to see the possibility of them coming, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, the anti-fogging operations will continue as a result of, after the passage, you may have stagnant water. So you expect this will be breeding ground for the proliferation of mosquitoes. Farmers, again, you should pay attention to the bulletins, ensure that you have, on warm days, you stay hydrated and, have enough water for your seedlings and livestock. And where it relates to tourism, on warm days, visitors, should remain hydrated again. And hoteliers should be prepared to see an increase in terms of your electricity bills, seeing that the use of air conditioners would be something that we can expect to be on the increase over the next few months.
All right. A hurricane approaching. What are the vulnerable areas here in St. Vincent and the Grand? The vulnerable areas, and those are those areas that persons should be aware of, and also to be on alert, so to speak.
Yeah, sure. We normally would see whenever you see a watch or support, areas prone to landslides or near rivers and streams, low-lying areas. The coastal low-lying areas that we speak about, in this case, places in Annisville, Kalliakwa, Kingston, areas that are prone to landslide, Belmont, Diamond, Prospect, and other areas with elevated terrain. But generally, the North Windward, the North Leeward, Central Leeward, South Leeward, these are areas that we expect persons to remain cautious and, of course, stay tuned to your local radio.
The World Pediatric Project, WPP, is said to be placing a strong emphasis on capacity building this year by implementing different auxiliary projects to improve the knowledge and skill set of local and regional medical practitioners in efforts to amplify the quality of pediatric healthcare systems within the Caribbean. A news release from the WPP said the Shaw Center for Pediatric Excellence presented the opportunity for the first time for one non-Barbadian to receive co-sponsorship to further the education in pediatric nursing and being the hub of operations for their territory pediatric healthcare programs. The WPP found it opportune that St. Vincent and the Grenadines should be the first to take advantage of this and made recommendations for local staff nurse and Cyrus to pursue, as well as offering to co-sponsor a journey. Nurse Cyrus works at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital and has excelled in the field of nursing for over 15 years. With the help of the WPP during her application process, she was accepted into the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus and will travel to Barbados to pursue a one-year postgraduate diploma in pediatric nursing. Dr. Clive Dave, the Barbados Program Director for ESCAPE, says they are delighted to join forces with the WPP, Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to provide this learning opportunity for a Vincentian nurse who will be a big part of the future growth of health services available for children. Executive Director for the Caribbean at WPP, Lauren McIntosh Shallow, also expressed her delight in having the chance to collaborate with SCAPE in offering this invaluable opportunity to Nurse Cyrus. noting that the training component is part of their capacity building initiatives in order to build sustainable models of care in the region. Vincentian businessman Dex Chance was gunned down in neighboring Grenada yesterday afternoon. According to reports, Chance, a car dealer, was shot and killed execution style by two armed masked men in the vicinity of Woburn, St. George. The Grenada Broadcasting Corporation, GBN, said, according to the sources close to the scene, Chance, who owns a Quest Auto in the area, received about 9 bullet wounds to the upper part of his body, including the neck, while sitting in his vehicle. The two assailants reportedly fled the scene after shooting Chance, 51, who is originally from Chateaubelair on a mainland St. Vincent. The killing of Chance marked the 17th homicide for Grenada at a news conference today. The officer responsible for serious crimes with the Royal Grenada Police Force, ASP Van Curinu, said they have commenced an investigation into the shooting death of Chance and has heightened their investigative focus on solving all outstanding murders. At a news conference, head of the Criminal Investigations Department with the Royal Grenada Police Force, Superintendent Asa Pierre, was asked whether Chance's death may have been linked to a cross-border criminal activity, given what they know of Chance.
The shooting incident yesterday at Woburn, and with respect to your inquiry, let me say that because Grenada is a porous country, we have porous borders, one can never eliminate the possibilities and the movements of persons connected to the underworld. And as such, we will always up our guard, which we will be looking at with respect to cross-border criminality. With respect to this particular case, we continue our investigations, and we will determine whether where the assailants originated from. But our investigations will tell us, will reveal the information subsequent. But I cannot at this stage venture to see whether it is local or regional. But it is a concern for us where the criminality is imported. Like these firearms are imported, so it would be a concern for us.
Chance was well known to law enforcement authorities locally and in other countries in the region, having been involved in a high-profile drug case in the British Virgin Islands, for which he and his co-accused were extradited from St. Vincent in 2011. Following the extradition, the men were found guilty in relation to the seizure of 61.2 kilograms of cocaine valued at more than $1 million. The drugs were found hidden aboard a sailboat Liesron, with sail to the BVI from St. Vincent in 2008. In 2012, the men were sentenced to 6 years imprisonment for the offense. However, in 2014, Chance and his co-accused were freed following an appeal court ruling. In 2019, Chance and 2 other men were charged in Grenada in connection to an EC $4 million cocaine bust. And the police here are investigating the circumstances surrounding a report of arson made by 46-year-old housekeeper of Diamond. The police say, according to the reports, on Friday, September 8, 2023, unknown person or persons without lawful excuse allegedly destroyed one white Nissan Tida car, registration plate P6961, valued at 15,000 EC dollars, by setting it on fire. The incident occurred at Diamond between 12:30 a.m. and 2:40 a.m. on September 4, 2023. Anyone with information that can assist with this investigation is asked to contact the officer in charge of the South Central Division at telephone number 454-200 or any police station or police officer you are comfortable with. The police say all information will be dealt with confidentially. An environmentally friendly schools competition was launched here today. The initiative is a collaboration between the Central Water and Sewage Authority, the CWSA, and the St. Vincent Electricity Services Limited Sustainable Development Unit, Careers Distribution Limited, the Ministry of Education, and the Public Health Department. Addressing the launching ceremony, marketing manager of CWSA, Joan Ryan, said the competition is one of the ways in which the CWSA and its partners will seek to ensure students are in a comfortable learning environment.
My staff and I, we sat down and we were coming up with what our program for 2023 was going to be. And we said we want to go back into the schools and do as much as we can to spread the information of waste management, of water conservation. And I had a conversation with the Environmental Services Unit about something totally different. And I just mentioned that we want to do this program in schools for this year. And she said, Finley said, we have the same thought. We want to do it as well. So I said, well, why don't we collaborate? We don't want to overburden the students and the teachers. Why don't we collaborate? And then we said, I wonder how the public health would feel about coming on board. We spoke with them and they said yes. And we had a conversation with Vinlec, and Vinlec said yes. And we had a conversation with Careers Distribution and they said yes. And so we said, okay, we have all these partners. We need the main partner. And we went to the Ministry of Education and we spoke with the chief. And the chief said, it's a wonderful idea.
The environmentally friendly schools competition will be done at both primary and secondary level.
Visited several schools, primary and secondary. We haven't been able to get to all of the schools, but we visited several schools throughout the country, and including the Grenadines. And we have sent correspondence to all of them, basically introducing the program and asking if they want to come on board, which the response has been really very, very positive. And so today, we want to say to our schools and to the general public that this program is a program that will see our students and our teachers planning and coming together to see how they can deal with issues of waste management, of litter, of just wanton dissemination of garbage throughout the school compound, how students feel about their water conservation, some of the other sanitation, public health type kind of issues, and so on. So when we visited the schools, we said to them, we are going to be recognizing the top 10 secondary schools and the top 15 primary schools for this program.
Ryan said the competition will start this month and culminate in June 2024.
Between now and then, students and teachers are expected to implement several programs in their schools. We are hoping that they would have an area where they feel like an environmentally friendly area where they feel everybody is like a space where everybody can be. And we are asking students and teachers to be creative about creating that environmental space for their students and for the teachers. We are asking you to be eco-friendly when you think about whatever programs you are going to be implementing. And we are asking you not to just have this program for a few students. We want the entire school population to be a part of it. So whatever you do throughout the year, we are hoping that the rest of even though you have a core group of students and teachers involved, we are hoping that the rest of the school population would be a part of the initiative. when I spoke with one school, they said they want to implement an agriculture program. And the discussion that we had was going to play right into that program. And I felt that was a good thing. So maybe you want to do something in composting. Maybe you want to focus on creating a garden for your school. Maybe you want your students are good artists.
Tuition scholarships are being made available for 2 female students attending the Division of Technical and Vocational Education at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College engaged in an agriculture program. The scholarship is being made available by Helen's Daughters, a non-profit organization operating in their countries, namely St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Kitts and Nevis. The students' tuition costs will be covered by the scholarship. Applicants must be female, a full-time student of the St. Vincent Community College, must be actively registered in agriculture program, and proof of acceptance into the college must be provided. Applicants are required to complete an application form with 1 passport-size photo, 2 references from a non-family member explaining the applicant's financial needs, academic merits, and professional aspiration. For further information, interested students can email Mishka Edwards at the Agriculture Department of the Division of Technical and Vocational Education at michkewards@svgcc.vc. Local entrepreneur Altia Garaway of Auroras is offering an assortment of products, including seasoning, pepper sauce, and jams. Garaway, who has been in business for about 25 years now, spoke highly about her products, noting that the proof is in the taste.
Growing up, it was my dream to become a businesswoman, be independent, don't depend on anybody. So that was my thing. So I had a dream as a child, teaching children, not knowing that I was dreaming my own dream. And then my adopted brother said to me, he's from Barley, he said there's an agro-processing course taking place in Barley. And he signed me up. And he said, you have to go down and do the rest. So that's what I did. So I did the course of August of '98 also. So that's why I stemmed from taking from one step to the next.
Garaway said that finance high cost of raw materials posed a challenge to her business.
From the bank with the high interest loan, sourcing raw materials, and the high cost of bottles. Because I remember one farmer said to me he used to plant peppers, and because he could not get market for it, he trimmed down everything. So I said I'm begging farmers in particular, when you have sage and hot peppers, if you don't know what to do, go to the supermarket. You'll find seasoning and pepper sauce on the shelf, take the phone number and get in contact with us. Because I think that's one of our challenges. Like I said, sourcing raw material, because of the software, even before software erupted, we had scarcity of hot peppers, make it worse after software, and then with the kind of weather, too much rain, side can't handle it, and too much sun, the hot pepper can't handle it. Get my factory stainless steel, get stainless steel countertops, tables, and get it to maybe the HACCP certification. That's my thing.
Garaway is encouraging persons considering to get involved in business to ensure they have a passion for it.
Don't get into it because somebody said you must do it. Do it on your own. Go at it. If you dream, if it's your dream to become a businessman or businesswoman, people gonna try and discourage you. Forget the negative thoughts and put the positive part in front of you and say, look, this is what I want and I'm going at it. Don't make nobody, not even your mother, deter you from it. Yes, it's going to cost you to start it up, but you have to start from somewhere. In my time, I started off with $10 to do a case of seasoning because I borrowed a $10 from my mother. Now I don't borrow.